Hi everybody, my name's Thomas with the Handwork Studio, and today I'm going to show you how to make a pom-pom using just 3 things. A ball of yarn, a pair of scissors, and your hand. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your ball of yarn and you're going to find the end. And it's okay if you're using a little ball like I am, or if you have the whole skein, either works. And I'm just going to find the end of my yarn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand and hold it like this so that it kind of looks like the head of a dog. And I'm going to take my yarn and I'm just going to drape it over my hand like this and pinch it with my thumb. Then I'm going to take the yarn that's attached to the ball, called the working end, and I'm just going to start to gently wrap this all around my hand. And we're going to wrap this a bunch of times because this is what makes our pom-poms nice and big and fluffy. Now, we don't want to wrap too tightly because we do need to be able to get this off of our hands to make our pom-pom. So I want to make sure that I can open my fingers and wiggle them around like you have, I don't know, a pet crocodile in there, or 4 very wiggly worms that we want to make sure that they have room to move around. So I'm just going to keep wrapping. And what I love about pom-poms is that there are so many great things that you can do. You can hang them up in your room. You can tie them onto a favorite bag. You can even actually turn them into an animal if you make one that's big enough. So I'm just going to wrap a few more times. You can see how nice and thick this is. I think that should be good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail, and I'm just going to snip this off like this so that I have my yarn bundle on my hand and I have my little ball of yarn that's cut separately. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to slide it inside of all of my strings. You guys see how my finger is inside? And I'm going to very carefully, using my thumb, just push it off so that I am holding a big donut of yarn. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to let this down on my table. And I'm going to go back to my little yarn ball. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end of my yarn and I'm going to pinch it between my thumb and my forefinger, my little alligator pincher. I'm just going to pinch, and I'm going to unravel down to my elbow and pinch again with my other hand. So this is a length of yarn that is the length of what's called my forearm, so my fingers to my elbow. And this is where I pinched at the end of my elbow. I'm just going to switch hands there and pick up my scissors and give it a little snip. And this piece of yarn is what we are going to use to turn our yarn donut into our beautiful fluffy pom-pom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this yarn, I'm going to take the end so it makes a little U, I'm going to fold it in half, and this is to find the very, very middle. And I'm going to take this middle and I'm going to just lay it on top of my donut. Then I'm going to very carefully turn the whole bundle over and pick up the ends again so that I make what looks like a letter U. Then I'm going to cross them and make a letter X. So I went from a U to an X, and then I'm going to take one of these ends, I'm going to poke it through the middle, and I'm just going to pull all the way down to the pom-pom. So this donut now makes like a number 8. Do you guys see how this kind of makes a swirly number 8 here? And I'm going to take my number 8, and right where I pulled, so this is where my knot pulled all the way down to my pom-pom, I'm going to take this and put it table side down. Then I'm going to take my ends, and I'm going to make a letter U again. Then I'm going to make the letter U, cross them over to make my letter X, and poke it through the middle, and pull. And just for safe measure, I'm going to flip it over again and do this one more time. So my letter U to my letter X, and pull. And if you want it to be extra secure, we can do one more, letter U, letter X, poke it through, and pull, pull, pull on the same side. So now I have this sort of circle of yarn with all of these loops on the top and on the bottom. So in order to turn this into a pom-pom, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my scissors again. And then all of those loops that I talked about, I'm just going to take them and slide just a few under my scissors and snip. And as you can see, I have a lot of loops here. So I'm just taking a couple at a time, no exact number, just a few, and I'm snipping them. And I'm gonna do that all across the top. And then once I've done this and snipped all of my little loops all across the top of my pom-pom, you can see it kind of looks like a friend with a really fuzzy haircut. I'm going to turn it over so that it looks like a jellyfish. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just trimming all of the little loops. And this, my friends, is where we start to see our pom-pom really come to life. So now I have this, and I'm just going to give it a little fluff. I'm going to tickle it. I'm going to tease it. I am going to make it look all super crazy. And there we go. And this is the beginning of our pom-pom. So what I can do now is I'm going to leave this super, super long string. This one I'm going to save. But I am going to, oh, I have a little loop there that I didn't cut. I'm just going to trim off some of these other long threads. So again, I've saved this really long one, but I'm just trimming some of these other ones. And now I'm going to give my pom-pom a haircut. So I'm going to clear my workspace, and we want to make sure that we're working on either a table or a floor or something that can be cleaned up really, really easily, because we're going to make some fuzzies here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, and I am just going to do my best to make sure that all of my pom-pom's hairs are close to being the same length. And this is also when, if I have any other loops that, that escaped my scissors the first time, I can go ahead and I can just trim and keep trimming until your pom-pom is nice and fluffy. So I am just giving my pom-pom a haircut, making sure that he looks all nice and neat. And every so often, I like to take my pom-pom in my hands, like this, and roll it around like he's a snowball. So I'm rolling around like I'm making a snowball in wintertime, and that is what makes him look nice and round. And if I didn't have this string coming out of the top, you wouldn't be able to tell where the top of my pom-pom was. So I am just going to keep trimming and trimming until he looks like this friend that I made a little bit earlier. And that's it, my friends. You now know how to make a pom-pom. And what's great about the trick that I showed you is today we used our hands, but you could use almost anything that has this kind of shape. So a flap off of a cardboard box, or your favorite storybook, or even a fork if you wanted to make a tiny pom-pom. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I can't wait to see all of the pom-poms that you make. Bye, friends.